Hi, welcome to the IndInfra Podcast. Get ready for the insights of the leaders from infra industry. Whether you're a fresher or a pro, they got something for you all. Let us explore the infra landscape in India together. I'm your host, Viswanadh Polisetty. Today we are going to discuss on contract management, the risks and rewards in infra projects. What is a contract? A contract is a binding agreement between two parties. In case of government projects, government body per se, National Highway Authority of India or NHAI is one party and the contractor or developer is second party. The contract helps in running the project smoothly from start to finish. The contract includes the scope, specifications, roles and responsibility of both parties, milestones, payments, and many other things in a detailed manner. With so many elements to play, contract management becomes important to overlook all these key elements effectively. Many a times during implementation of the project, we tend to run into disagreements between parties. In such cases, instead of going to court, which takes more time and money, so we can use a mechanism called arbitration as specified in the contract. It's like having a fair third party to listen both sides to resolve the disputes. This arbitration process is just one important activity of contract management to resolve the disputes arise, which allows a fair play and makes sure the project runs smoothly from start to finish. To discuss and explain the critical elements of contract management, including arbitration, to our audience, we have our esteemed guest who is an expert in this field. Let's meet Mr. Vikramjeet Singh to our show, who has almost 4 decades of experience in contract management, risk management, dispute resolution, arbitration, litigation, and their respective processes, both in India as well as abroad. He worked with renowned organizations like Tata Projects, Macon, EP1 Group, and right now he is with GKC Projects. Welcome to the show, Mr. Vikramjeet Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Viswanadh. It's my pleasure to join you for this opportunity you have provided me to explain to what we have been doing for last few years. I will correct you, it is not 4 decades, it is 5 decades.
Yes, sir. Correct. You are absolutely right.
Yes.
Because you have got a lot of experience working with state governments, central governments, NHAI, which are predominantly again EPC, HAM and BOT, and PSUs also. So considering all your experience, many of the projects which you have done, these arbitrations and contract management, please explain what is contract management.
Okay, to a very simple word explanation of a contracts management, I would like to say it is a management of the contract agreement. The contract agreement which is reached between two parties, essentially one is a purchaser, the other is a seller. So in this case of say what you said, NHI or companies, NHI is a client or a purchaser, and who's selling the services is the contractor or whatever, concessionaire, contractors or sellers, whatever you can name it. It has to be between two parties. One is selling the product, the other is buying the product.
Correct.
In this case, let's say for NHI, I would say, you just refer to NHI today. NHI is a very big purchaser for services from the contract people, contractors or sellers to buy various of its products or executing various its projects. So here, the client is NHI and the contractor or the service provider is a contractor. And the agreement reached between the two parties is called the contract agreement.
फिर मैनेजमेंट क्या होता है सर इसमें?
So contract management means, you see, a contract will start from the date of signing of the contract agreement. Okay, it explores various aspects. Means what is the scope of work, what is the delivery timelines, and what are the other major products like specifications, contract specifications, or payment terms, I would say. And these are the more 4 or 5 major events. 5 events I will tell you in the contract agreement is the description of the contract, what time it is going to start and what it is going to end. So that is the delivery schedules. Then what is the contract specifications? What type of jobs we are doing? What are contract specifications? Who's giving the details of equipment which we are going to manufacture or the work which we are going to execute.
ऐसा काम कराना है वो सब डिटेल्स होगा उसमें.
हाँ जी, drawings, specifications, all those things will be. The third part will be your payment terms. You see how for my doing the job, how I am going to be paid.
Correct.
That's very important. And the other part is my other terms and conditions. Suppose if I don't do the job in time, so I have to impose liquidated damages. It is the same way applied to the other parties. If the other party doesn't provide their own compliances, like NHI or like any clients, if they do not give me the funds in time, I also have a right to put complaints, claims on them.
Okay.
So in a standard contract specifications called FIDIC documents, which spells out the responsibilities and liabilities of both the parties. So this aspect is going to be our major contract agreements are covered through the FIDIC documents in India and abroad also.
But sir, sorry to interrupt you. This NHA का अभी जो चल रहा है EPC, HAM and BOT, वो भी FIDIC से गवर्न करता है या वो इंडिपेंडेंट कंडीशंस है सर NHA का?
They may be designing their terms and conditions, but most of these terms and conditions are guided by FIDIC documents.
Okay, they are derived from FIDIC and they have used it. That's good.
Right. Because some projects of NHI may be executed, large projects by very standard companies like Larsen, Tubro, and other big. They will not agree to the terms, which is not standardized.
Correct.
And FIDIC documents are considered to be standard documents,
Right.
It protects the interests of both the parties.
Okay. So they derived from FIDIC, but they have modified based on Indian conditions
Some
and NHA's
small
requirement and local contractors, Indian contractors, and finalized and over a period of time. That's great.
Yes.
Sir, why contract management is so important in the projects or contracts?
Now I'll tell you, you are trying to get into what is the difference between contracts management and the project management. This is very vital thing to understand. Between both are doing the same thing,
Correct.
A project manager is as soon as he gets the job, his job is to mobilize the site and gets the work executed as per the contract specification.
Requirement.
Complete the project to the satisfaction of the contract specification, not the satisfaction of the client. Means we should be very careful to understand what my contract says. It is a compliance to the contract specifications. It has got nothing to do with the satisfaction of the client, Client satisfaction is one ending. But the contract agreement specifies limitation of the requirements of the project.
Okay.
So my job, project manager, should do his job as per the contract specifications, complete it in time. If the other parties, the client is also providing their own responsibilities in time and hand over the project to them. So this is the contract, that is a project manager. Now, what is the contracts manager doing on to this? A contracts manager gets into the contract agreement first, tries to see what is the financial implications which has been construed or developed in the contract agreement. And if some of the things which the project engineer is doing, if he's not getting suppose the client has not given the funds in time, still the other project manager is doing the job, but he is not writing a letter to the client. Yes, sir, you have not given this funds in time, and this funds not given in time is going to cost me prolongation. Prolongation means it's going to cost me the money.
So delay of the project. Prolongation means.
But the engineer will not like it because he doesn't want to annoy the client. Now the contracts manager, he has to be a very good person to see, not to annoy the client also, but put on record what are the changes that are taking place from which service the contract specification and the actual execution. Now if it does it,
काम भी होना चाहिए और किसी को अफेंड भी नहीं करना चाहिए.
Yes, that's very
But at the same time, contract के हिसाब से जो चिट्ठी विट्ठी लिखना है, correspondence देना है, वो सब तो continue होना ही चाहिए.
You have to record it.
Right.
And because most of the things are discussed in the project review meetings, so we have to refer to those meetings very silently and write a very soft letter. Sir, this is what has happened to this meeting. You have asked me to divert the things, divert the alignments. I have done this. That's all. This is more than sufficient to justify our changes.
Okay.
That's
So
the basic difference between.
correct.
But
Correct.
he also, both the people are doing to the satisfaction of the contract agreement only,
Okay. There are two parallel activities. One is basically project
Yes.
execution and implementation as per the contract. And other
Yes.
one is contract management to look after the contractual requirements. Any deficiencies are there that will be addressed or
Any
notified to
changes are
the
there.
client or the government body to record that, to put it on record. These are the issues and get the clarifications, or if necessary, they might get into the claims in future. Am I right, sir?
Now, I'll tell you one example. Sorry to interrupt you, Viswanadh. I'll give you an example. Last 3 years back, there was a concept of Corona, which has affected the country a lot.
Yes.
Now, in Corona also, no activity or work could take place in any other works because Government of India has simply issued the directives for stoppage of project activities.
Oh,
No person is going to walk around here. No movement of the goods have taken place.
correct.
Now, when such which is called beyond the control of either parties, it is basically force majeure to be specific. So then at least there should be a letter from the contractor to the client. Sir, you are kindly aware, as per the government directives or as per the practice things, if I am not able to execute the works because of these reasons. My people have fled the site. He has left the sites. Now I am not able to do the work. So that small letter should go. And if any government circulars are there or announcements are there by the Prime Minister or any Chief Minister or anybody, we should at least highlight those things and put it on record somewhere. And as and when this force majeure conditions will prevail, we have to write the letter to the client, very soft letters, without stating that you are entitled for any claims or this or that. Because claims part will be taken care of the contract agreement itself.
Okay. Sir, that's good piece of information to start with, sir. The next point is like during execution of the project. So, what are the actions to be taken by contractors or developers regarding contract management and risk management, which will have impact on dispute resolution tomorrow or arbitration in future? कुछ आया तो क्या क्या precautions लेना है, कैसा उसको address करना है, both on contract management side and risk management side, especially during execution. You have I already थोड़ा सा बताया, आप थोड़ा elaborate कर लीजिए सर उस एंगल में.
नहीं, इट्स वेरी नाइस क्वेश्चन विश्वनाथ जी. क्या होता है कि जब भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट हम लोग साइन करते हैं ना, उसमें एक्टिविटीज देखिए. वन इज द कमेंसमेंट एक्टिविटीज.
करेक्ट.
कमेंसमेंट एक्टिविटीज का मतलब क्या होता है कि कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैज टू मोबिलाइज द साइट. ही हैज टू ब्रिंग प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट, मशीनरीज एंड अदर यूटिलिटीज इन द साइट. और वो साइट में लाएगा एंड ही विल पुट ऑन रिकॉर्ड टू द क्लाइंट, बिकॉज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट स्पेसिफाइज वेरी क्लियरली कि जैसे ही आप प्रोजेक्ट काम करेंगे, आप अपना कमेंसमेंट ऑफ मोबिलाइजेशन कैसे कर रहे हैं. तो एक बार जब हम साइट को मोबिलाइज करते हैं, मीन्स हम प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट लाते हैं और अपना मैन पावर लाते हैं, अपना साइट ऑफिस बनाते हैं. तो ये चीज हम क्लाइंट को इंटीमेट करते हैं कि सर अभी हमने ये कर दिया. जब क्लाइंट एक बार देख लेता है यहाँ भी ही हैज sufficiently mobilized the site with equipment, manpower, and other permanents and temporary structures, then he is in some other contract agreements there is a provision of advance payment. तो एक एडवांस पेमेंट वो तभी देता है जब आपने ये सब चीज मोबिलाइज
कर दिया.
जब तक आप मोबिलाइज नहीं करेंगे वो एडवांस नहीं देगा. बट वन थिंग आई टेल यू, आई टेल यू, उससे पहले एक्टिविटी क्या होता है, जैसे ही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट साइन होता है ना, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को एक अपना सिक्योरिटी देना पड़ता है कि साहब मैं आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड तक परफॉर्म करूंगा, खत्म करूंगा. उसके लिए सिक्योरिटी देनी पड़ती है, या बैंक गारंटी और सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट देनी पड़ती है, विच इज जनरली इन ऑल द स्टैंडर्ड मीन्स इज 10% ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट प्राइस. तो जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इतना पैसा उसके पास है, बिकॉज कोई आदमी ने बड़ा काम करना है, उसके पास इतना पैसा तो होना चाहिए, or they will be able to get the money from the bank guarantees from the bank, and then they will give the bank guarantee to the client. Then the client will give advance payment. तो
जितना
आप भी
उसमें
अगर
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में मेंशन किया होगा इतना परसेंटेज है, उतना
हाँ जी,
परसेंटेज का
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट
अमाउंट
में
का
लिखा होता है।
इजी देना, बैंक गारंटी देना पड़ता है। राइट सर।
हाँ, वो
सिमिलरली
परफॉर्मेंस।
कंडीशंस प्रेसिडेंट जो रिक्वायर्ड है,
यस,
जैसा आपने बोला कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को ये सब करना है, डेवलपर को ये सब करना है। सिमिलरली NHA और द गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स, रेस्पेक्टिव डिपार्टमेंट, उनको भी कुछ कंडीशंस प्रेसिडेंट होगा टू स्टार्ट द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट।
हाँ सर, ऐसा होता है ना, वंस यू हैव गिवन द परफॉर्मेंस सिक्योरिटी, वंस यू हैव मोबिलाइज्ड द साइट एंड ड्रॉन द एडवांस पेमेंट, नाउ द प्रॉब्लम इज द डिफिकल्ट द कंप्लायंसेस फ्रॉम द अदर पॉइंट। नाउ एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जब आता है, उसको 2 महीना, 2 साल, 3 साल में काम करना खत्म करना पड़ता है। उसमें क्या होता है कि सो मेनी साइट होता है ना, साइट होता है।
Yes,
साइट में हमारा प्रोजेक्ट, साइट में जो होगा काम, उसके लिए साइट शुड बी क्लियर फ्रॉम ऑल इनकम्बरेंसेस और ऑब्स्ट्रक्शंस। कई बार ऐसा होता है कि गवर्नमेंट के लिए ग्रीन फील्ड नहीं होता। ग्रीन
correct,
फील्ड का मतलब ओपन फील्ड है कि जहां
right,
पर सब क्लियरेंस पड़ा हुआ है। बट 90% प्रोजेक्ट्स में क्या होता है, हमारे जितने रोड प्रोजेक्ट्स हुए, कोई भी रोड प्रोजेक्ट्स में जनरली ये प्रॉब्लम याद आती है, या कोई पाइपलाइन प्रोजेक्ट हो गया और इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट्स आ गए। इसमें क्या होता है ना, ऑल द साइट्स आर जनरली ऑब्स्ट्रक्टेड। उसको निकालने के लिए आपको क्लियरेंस लेनी पड़ती है कोर्ट की, आपको लोगों को हटा के डिस्प्लेस करना पड़ता है, उनके लिए जगह लेनी पड़ती है। वो काम सरकारी कंपनी का होता है। उसमें भी जैसे NHI हुआ, NHI has to get those things cleared. He has to take the assistance from Forest Department, PWD Department, or any other similar government agencies to provide the clear fronts to the contractor.
so the
एक चीज मैं
clients
आपको
or government
बताऊंगा।
departments are supposed to give the all the permissions, clearances, and the land what is required
Yes,
the
yes,
project as written or as specified in the contract. That is their conditions precedent. That is in the beginning of
yes,
the project. Similarly, during
yes.
execution, during the process of implementation, milestones and all completions, during that time, again, what are the other procedures are in regard to this contract management and risk management?
नहीं
What?
सर, एक चीज आपको बतलाएंगे जो मैं नहीं बतलाया अभी आपको। उसमें है, हमने जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ने अगर एग्रीमेंट किया है, ये
Yes, sir.
काम हम 36 महीने में करेंगे, वो इस कंडीशन में है कि एज पर द शेड्यूल द
Yes, sir.
क्लाइंट हैज आल्सो प्रोवाइडेड द क्लियरेंसेस एज पर दोस माइलस्टोन शेड्यूल्स।
Oh,
अगर वो
okay.
क्लाइंट इज डिलेइंग द थिंग्स, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इज नॉट एबल टू मीट द माइलस्टोन शेड्यूल, कंप्लीशन शेड्यूल। उसके कारण क्या हो जाता है, द प्रोजेक्ट्स गेट्स प्रोलॉन्ग्ड। प्रोजेक्ट जैसे ही प्रोलॉन्ग होगा, एक लमसम प्राइस होते हैं जनरली हमारे, या तो यूनिट रेट प्राइस होते हैं, 2 टाइप के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं। तो लमसम प्राइस में क्या होता है, एंटायर डिजाइन इंजीनियरिंग हैज टू बी डन बाय द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर।
Correct.
जबकि यूनिट रेट प्रोजेक्ट में क्या होता है, डिजाइनिंग इज डन बाय द क्लाइंट।
Correct.
तो डिजाइनिंग, तो उसमें जितनी क्वांटिटी बढ़ती है, हमको पैसा मिलता रहता है। बट
Correct.
अगेन देयर इज अ टू एवरीथिंग। यू कैन नॉट इंक्रीज द क्वांटिटीज 100% and ask the client, contractor to complete in 2 years or 3 years,
Correct.
because it has to be proper differentiated. तो वो दो कंडीशंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अगर क्लाइंट अपनी ड्यूटीज ठीक से निभाएगा, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, फ्रंट अवेलेबिलिटी करेगा, तभी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर उसको उस महीने में, उस पीरियड शेड्यूल माइलस्टोन में अचीव कर पाएगा। नहीं तो द disputes will arise between the two parties.
Correct. That means the quantities, scope जो भी change हो रहा है during execution, वो सब तो notify करना पड़ेगा। और during
Yes,
execution suddenly unfortunately or fortunately something happens in the site, like कोई obstruction आ गया, but which is not in the control of contractor, वो सब तो notify करना पड़ेगा during consent. That's what I understand
yes.
what you said. Right, sir. That's
सर,
good.
इसमें क्या चीज होती है, one thing you have rightly said, we have to notify. The second thing is already client is aware of this. You see, both the people, the contractor and the client, they are in the site only,
Correct.
and they are aware. It has been mandated properly in the project review meetings. These are monthly progress reports which the contractor is supposed to submit to all the clients.
Yes.
In that report, everything is elaborated very clearly.
I think that will be a very good basis for
that is a
and
base
minutes.
document.
Yeah.
That is a basic document available.
Okay. These will be useful if we properly maintain these monthly progress reports and the minutes of meetings, etc. They will be quite useful during arbitration process, apart from the regular correspondence and letters.
Now, I tell you, sir, in this context, it is very important to note that between contractor and the client, sometimes the client brings into one more party. That's a PMC. PMC means the consultant.
Yeah,
So they will
supervision
try
consultant, authority engineer,
they will try to take services of consultant to overview the progress of the work.
correct.
So that PMC is the party who is given full authority to see the working being executed as per the contract specifications. And if
Right.
any changes are there, the PMC consultant is fully aware of this.
Okay.
So that is one more party has entered into between these two parties.
Right. Right, sir.
So here the PMC is acting like a client. So
Correct.
sometimes I don't have to interact with the client. I have to contact through the PMC person only.
सर अब सारा
This is very
इतना सारा काम है, इतना सारा काम ड्यूरिंग एग्जीक्यूशन होगा, और जब क्लेम्स का पार्ट आएगा, जनरली द क्लेम एंड आर्बिट्रेशन प्रोसेस, मेनली आर्बिट्रेशन प्रोसेस, it starts after or end of the project or completion of the project.
No, sir, one thing I just, you just mentioned one thing, the claims are made after the end of the project.
Yes.
I think that is not a right concept.
Okay.
The claims are never made after the completion of the project or nearing the contract completion.
Okay.
No, claims are made as and when the difference of disputes or changes takes place
Correct.
between the contract specifications and the actual requirements.
Okay.
Or what is the original requirements and the change requirements. As and when these changes take place, if we have to put a small letter to the client, please refer to the discussions. These changes have been made in line with the discussion. Small letter it goes, and then later on, you try to make the further determination of the cost involved into this, and issue the letters in time to time. And since both parties are at site, three parties are at site, means one is contractor, PMC consultant, and the client. So we should be able to put on record somewhere if these changes have taken place beyond the contract specifications.
Okay.
And that will give back to the claims. So it means it can happen anytime when the changes are being articulated in the contract agreement. But one thing is very important to note, the changes cannot be made by the contractor. Changes have to be made by the client only, if any.
Okay.
So that's one thing very important we must know.
Okay. Good, sir.
Yes.
Sir, इसमें जो, that means what I understand from you is the claims are not necessarily be made at the end of the project. At any stage
Yes.
of the project, the claims can be
Yeah.
made and could be resolved also at the same time.
It may not be possible to resolve similarly, but if you put on letter and if the PMC consultant is good enough, he should be able to get it resolved through his interferences with the client.
If arbitration process, it starts at the end, after a project gets completed, so that time, if people are not available around, and when you prepare such claim without the people who are associated with the project, did you face such problems? If so, how do you suggest we should mitigate that problem?
Yes, that's a very nice question, Mr. Viswanadh. Here I want to tell you that people do not matter. The documents matter. If we are maintaining the good records and documents with respect to the changes and disputes and issues involved in execution, then the people are not important at all. If I want to give you an example, even if it's arbitration, cross-examination is not necessary. Cross-examination, the people who are present, is not necessary. It's the documents what we are going to prove and submit it. They will speak everything with regard to your claims and disputes, and the third agency like dispute resolution board or maybe arbitration tribunal people, they will evaluate your claims on the basis of the documents what we have furnished to them. Now that's why I told you in the very first place, your important thing about a claim is your documentation control. If you are issuing letters from time to time, whenever some incidents are taking place, which specifies changes to the contract scope, contract specifications, or the non-compliance of the part of the client, you will be able to generate this. That itself will be able to generate a good claim for you, which is as per the more than other standard documents available with us.
Again, it shows that the importance of contract management during project implementation. That means if the
Yeah.
documentation is properly made, then during arbitration, you will have less problems or zero problems. So
Yes,
you
yes,
said people
yes,
do not matter. The documents have to
yes,
speak. So all the
yes,
monthly progress reports you said, all the correspondence you said, or the notifications you said, the minutes of meetings you said, all these things are very much necessary that during course of execution, they have to maintain that.
yes,
I got it.
yes.
Like that is the importance
Very
of
much
contract
correct.
management during project execution. Yes.
Very much correct. So I want to give an example. Last month also, I happened to be cross-examined by the arbitration tribunal
Mm-hmm.
in Ahmedabad.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was not involved in this project.
Correct.
It was being done by some other persons who have
Okay.
left the
Okay.
company some few time back. But some of the documents which were available with us,
Yes.
we have studied those documents,
Okay.
compiled those documents. And after studying these documents, we could feel that we are justified to put down the claims.
Oh.
And then I myself wanted to be cross-examined by the tribunal to explain the claims before the tribunal and justifying the claims on our part. So now what happens? Most of the claims in public sectors are basically because the client do not provide the funds in time. They do not approve the things. They delay in approving the drawings. They are not doing it. Why? Because they are depending on clearance, approval on some third party. They have got some PMC consultant. They have some other drawing manufacturers who are dealing on their part.
Okay.
As far as land is also concerned, there are so many agencies involved. PWD is there, who does remove the underground cables or utilities or whatever. And there is a forest department who do not allow the trees to be cut, but trees have to be cut in order to make the passage for the things, pipelines or roads or whatever. So these are the compliances
Problems.
which the client has taken responsibility to do this, but they depend on some other agency to do their job on their part.
Okay.
So that's why the project gets delayed because client doesn't take those things into account prior to entering into the contract agreement.
Okay. Whoever has not done that, attended that particular activity or issues, but ultimately the employer or the client is responsible to arrange the land, trees or utilities free lands and all. So it's a default from their side, you mean to say. Right.
And in one of the few road projects, sir, I give you another example. The contract, that is what is very important, how you frame a contract. Once my business development guys or the BD people are entering into the contract agreement, they have to be very clear in going to the contract conditions and specifications. What they are saying, what is likely to take place. You may say the contract completion schedule is 18 months from the commencement date. The client will give the commencement date X. Okay. And your 18 months will expire after 18 months. Now, but the client doesn't provide you the funds for 15 months.
So how can you complete the project?
How you can do this project?
Correct.
Now there are some cases, sir. We have come across one more example I want to give you.
So
The
all such
client has
cases
given us-
you can claim the compensation through claims and all. That's what you say.
Yes. Now here I tell you very good example. There was a client NHI. They are given a project of road constructions to us. It has a provisions for completing the project in 18 months. 15 months have passed. They have not given the funds at all. So then we have terminated the contract with the client.
Okay.
And as per the contract conditions, if the contractor terminates because of the non-availability of funds, so they're entitled for a huge compensation. So the client came to negotiation with us for giving us some compensation or prolongation, and then we could complete the project in time.
Okay.
For new schedule. Not the time is new schedule as and when they are provided funds to you.
So
the claims are settled
new schedule as well as compensation, both you are saying.
As well as a compensation.
Good.
Right.
Yes. Sir, so the claims arbitrations जो submission हो गया, finally you get receive the award and you go through the award. When you go through that, some claims are whatever you felt, you are very strong and confident. इसको हमको मिलना ही चाहिए award in favor of the contractor or developer. And some other claims but the result is probably negative. But some claims are moderate. Initially, you thought they are not that strong, but let us put these claims also. But you are successful in getting the award in favor of contractor. So, did you like this kind of things have happened in your case in any of the projects? If so, can you tell us some live examples?
Sir, actually, I tell you, a claims management is a very tricky question because I'm not supposed to make a claim which will prove my character as a person who's just making claims and not doing the job. So my claim should be really realistic, not overshooted with the prices. It should
Okay.
be reasonable, as per the prevailing market rates and prices. What happens? Suppose if there is a pipe, so my claim may be procurement of additional pipes. So my
Correct.
additional pipe procurement, if my order might have been contract agreement might have been 2 years old, but because of the changes required by the client, I have to procure the pipes after 2 years. So I
Oh,
have to go the prevailing rates of the price, not the base rates of the price. And
correct.
then we have to provide the documents. So my claim should not be unrealistic because I personally feel that claim should be reasonable and which should get a good attention by the arbitration tribunal because that tribunal is an independent body, third party, who's going to verify your claims in a proper perspective. And my basis of claim have to be the standard documents, MORTH documents in case of roads, similar other documents available for other areas of executions. I should rely on those. If I'm relying on that, now let's look into plant and equipment. Now I'm telling you an example. Prolongation of plant and equipment. Now plant and equipment, my contract is 18 months. The contract has got prolonged up to 36 months. The difference of 18 and 36, 18 months. I have really deployed the resources. It's proven as per the MPR reports that these
Okay.
plant and equipment are, and the client has not complained that you have not deployed the requisite resources. Now, I know as per the MORTH document what is the rate of the plant and equipment during that new period which I am going to have. If you claim, your claim are likely to be accepted by the tribunal. That's what I meant to say. But if you make exaggerated claims, it's likely to be rejected. And then your entire claim process will collapse,
Okay.
So we
Thank you.
feel that I want to give examples, sir. In Macon, I'm not giving you one example. In GKC, where I'm presently associated for last 13 years, we have tried to make a claim, and I have told my managing director, what is the likely amount which is going to be realized? And I want to tell you, whatever figures I gave him 5 years back, and whatever we got the award is almost matching to each other, same thing.
Oh,
So I
great.
should be able to assess how the arbitration tribunal are going to, because now you give it to the arbitration tribunal. It comprises of three personnel. One is nominated by me, other nominated by the client, and third is the presiding, who is nominated by both of them, third party. So these three people are going to adjudicate your claims. Now it is quite likely all the three people will not agree to what I have put it out.
Correct.
So I put a thumb. So at least 50% of my claims are likely to be realized.
Correct.
Because in any case, they are not going to pay me everything now. Because they know very well, this party is already at the site. Lot of expenses is already included in his other project activities. He has already mobilized the site. He has got a manpower and other resources. So his claims cannot be as per the MORTH document also. They will also go a thumb rule of say 60%, 70% or depending on from tribunal and people, and they will grant approvals for this. So this is a very intelligent work a person has to do in the claims management, where all the three people should be involved. One is a contracts person, one is a project person, and third one is a finance person. Three people should be there to look into the claims.
Okay. Sir, I understand that there should be a strong base for whatever claims you are making. There should be some basis, rational, the documents and calculations to arrive at the cost and then make the claims. And
Right?
also, yes. So also the three arbitrators are there in that particular system. So even if two give in favor of the claim and one negates, still you get the award, sir, I suppose?
Yes, actually, it's called majority award.
Okay.
Generally, what happens? As I told you, there are three arbitrators. One arbitrator nominated by me, another arbitrator nominated by the client, the other party, and third is chosen by these two people.
Right.
So if I get the award given by the majority, by the third principal arbitrator, means main arbitrator, and my one of the arbitrators, so it becomes a majority award. In any case, I don't expect the other client's arbitrator to toe in line. There are many cases I have seen, but 90% of the cases, all the three arbitrators come into unanimous agreement in issuance of the award. Very few cases are there, especially with regard to the state government projects, where the arbitrator of the client is not in line with the majority of the arbitrators.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect into execution of awards.
So there are chances that there is a neutral decision will come out, despite having the arbitrator
Yes.
from the one arbitrator from government department. That's good, sir. That's a good
So
part.
most of the 90% cases are unanimous award, and there may be some cases a majority award. There
Good,
can
sir.
be a case where there is no award given to any party. I have got one case where no award has been given to either party. Both the parties have made a claim before the tribunal, and both the claims of both the parties have been nullified.
Oh,
Now you tell me what happens.
not in favor of contractor, not in favor of government department, the client. So
Now
it is
what
0-0.
happens? What happens? But
Okay.
still, look into who has done the job. The contractor has done the job. The client has only getting the job done. But if the proof is there, the project has been prolonged. So there is a standard law of the land. If the project has been delayed, the party who has suffered is contractor. His interest should be protected. So in such cases, where the contractor and the client loses both, I can always question the decision of the tribunal before the court of law.
Oh, great. Sir, so client, government departments also make the claim against contractors and developers?
Yes.
Okay, same
They
process.
also have a right. Why? Yes, I tell you one example. Why client? Now let's look into contractor saying the project has been delayed because of the reasons of the client not providing me funds and clearances time, and for prolongation cost is there. Similarly, the client may say, I have given some funds to him. I have given say 50% of funds, but he has not done the job on 50% of the job. And correctly, he has less people, less resources. He has been slowing down somewhere. His people are not working correctly. He is delaying it. So because the project is getting delayed, I am losing my completion. Whatever profits I am going to earn in completion of the project in time, I am going to lose that profit. If your project is executed, he is going to earn a lot of money because of this project completion. So he will also go for loss of profit, loss of consequential losses. But I want to tell you in this context, the contract agreement does not provide for consequential losses. So if the client generally claims the consequential losses is not allowed in the contract agreement.
Consequential
So
loss
most of the
मतलब
claims
क्या है सर? इसका मतलब क्या है?
Consequential losses means I tell you, it's a good question. Means if I have done the project,
yes sir,
I am losing returns from the government. If I have completed the project, my annuity is not getting in time. Because some concessionaire is depending on completion of the project from EPC contractor, so that his annuity will commence in time. So he will try to say there's a loss of annuity to me. No, loss of annuity is not provided in the contract. It's a consequential.
If these two are separate contracts, so one contract's impact, if it is there on the other contract, so that is called consequential loss, and that will not be entertained.
Because EPC contractor has a contract with the client, and client has got a annuity contract agreement with government projects. So I am not going to suffer because I have consequential losses. Similarly, when my labor gets idle, so client will say, I will not be defeated by your consequential losses.
Okay, got it. सर अभी आप लास्ट 10-15 ईयर्स में आप कितना आर्बिट्रेशंस अवार्ड्स केम इन फेवर ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयर लाइक द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर whom with you are working, that is predominantly last 10-15 years means it is GKC. How many projects and how much amount you could get approximately if you remember?
I think, sir, for your kind information, leaving aside the previous, we have got it, where very large arbitrations were their large value item in Mekon and in Tatas. But in GKC, we have got 10 to 12 cases of arbitration.
Okay.
And I would say out of 12, we have won all the cases.
Excellent. All the 12.
There is not a single arbitration case which we have lost.
Oh, great, sir.
And all of it depends on the public sectors and government sectors, state government sectors.
All government, central government, and also some state governments are also there, I think. Yeah.
And in some cases,
sir, approximate amount, how much you could get in the award amount approximately, just to have a feel of.
Sir, I will not like to reveal the figures because that is confidential. But I would say, suppose if I made a claim of say about 1,000 crores, suppose I have been able to realize 580 to 600 crores.
So approximately 55 to 60% you could achieve it.
Yes.
That's a great achievement. So
that's
all the claims got in favor of your contractor, and also the amount wise around 55 to 60% you could win it out of the total claims. That's a fantastic achievement, I would say.
Thank you very much.
Sir, I would say one thing openly. I was really very fortunate to work with you quite long period. We always admire at you, at your energy levels, at your dedication on the work. At the age of 75, so you don't look like that, but at the age of 75, how do you maintain the energy and enthusiasm, dedication at par with youngsters, or maybe better than that sometimes?
No, not like that. You know, I would try to say I get inspiration from young people like you. You may be younger to me about 10 or 15 years, but I get inspiration from you. When this gentleman can be this much fast, why I cannot be? So I try to fight with my own self, why I should not be like this. So it's not that I'm doing an exercise, I'm not going for morning walks, but I'm trying to keep myself busy.
Right.
Always, when I'm in my house also, maybe getting upstairs and downstairs 10 or 15 times, I want to keep myself busy, you know. But
so the work
I think
and when you are the time spent on your work itself is giving a good health and
yes, that's
good.
That is the only way of my secret.
Right. Sir, on behalf of the professionals or the engineers who are freshers or in the beginning of their career, like 5 to 10 years or 10 to 15 years they've completed. So on behalf of them, I just want to ask a couple of questions. One is that why should the young professional or young engineer should pursue contract management and dispute resolution career? And what kind of skill set they should acquire to pursue this career in future? So please give your suggestions to these young guys.
I'll give a small things to you, sir. For your kind information, I did my electrical and electronics engineering in 1974 from NIT Durgapur. And to be frank with you, I did not do anything of electrical electronics in my last 50 years of career. You know? So it's not, as I want to say, the contracts management or whatever skills are there, it all depends on, it has to be developed by you. There has to be the basic criteria to be a good contracts manager is.
Yes.
You must be very good in English. You should be able to understand the contract, technical specifications, as well as the commercial conditions and terms, you know. And you should be able to understand what is the meaning of those conditions. It's a very interesting job, you know. As I wanted to tell, I even did not want to become an engineer. I wanted to become a BSc Physics honors person in Presidency College. I didn't get opportunity. So I had to do engineering because I thought engineering is the next thing. But again, it's not up to you to choose anything. It's the circumstances are going to make you choice. So contracts management, as I told you, it requires a thorough study of your contract agreements, contract specifications, and evaluating your personally what is the implications if the contract gets delayed. It's not a question of fresh engineer. If any person tries to think, yes, I have to do some, suppose let us you are a project manager. You have been a PMC expert. But I remember very nicely when in one of the cases you have worked as a cross-examination of the contract specification and the project. You did very nicely. It's only because you have concentrated in understanding the value of the contracts and the projects. And once you do this, and if you are able to put your records in place, because that's also a good management job yourself, that is document. If you have to get your job done in that way, I think it's very interesting. I will leave aside the design part. Design engineering are a different cult of people, but the project people like you and me have to do something by which the government projects or my company's projects are executed in a nicer way, and how it is going to be executed. And if it's delayed, how I have to be see my compensation is to be converted to returns.
Okay. So basically, there should be analytical mind and interpretation skills.
Yes.
How whatever is written, how we can
Yes.
interpret and understand, and then
Yes.
proceed further. So all these qualities are required. Nowadays,
This is
anyway, there are some the courses are also there on the contract management side, so they can pursue and also they can become properly there. That's another way of.
But more than program, one has to be themselves concentrating into the efforts.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're right.
To conclude the talks, I just give you 2 or 3 things about the claims management and dispute. What we have done, the claims we have been able to do, a client has terminated the contract on us.
Oh my goodness.
They have terminated the contract on us. We have converted into the claims, and we have been able to prove to the arbitration tribunal the termination is wrongly done, and the award has come in our favor. In one more cases, we terminated the contract to the client.
My
The
goodness.
government of India.
I think
And
very few cases, what you said, second one especially. So
no, it may happen
terminating
depending
contractors,
on.
I heard many things.
Now, in one case, we terminated the contract. You
Oh,
remember you were there in Patna
yes,
when
yes,
we terminated the contract. And
correct.
for your kind information, we got the award in our favor in that case also.
Okay.
So it's not a question of who is doing what. It's a question of how I am able to justify my claims.
How you prove the cases or
How you
situations
prove
and
that you are right.
incidents. Yes.
How you prove what you are right. But there's a one problem in the so-called arbitration or so-called claims management or so-called whatever, dispute resolution. Earlier, it used to take 4 or 5 years for an arbitration process to conclude. Recently, with the government of India's intervention, there is a timelines given by 1.5 to 2 years for conclusion of arbitration proceedings. That's a good news. But the worst part is also to come. Execution of awards is again a problem, Mr. Jobs.
Oh.
Execution of the claims, when we go to the court of law for execution, it takes a few more years. But there's a good development again this field also, because in central government undertakings, the government has taken a stand by bringing Vivad Se Vishwas Tak. A scheme has been developed by the government, by which certain arbitration awards, which has been authenticated by the arbitration or by the court, it can be resolved between the parties, or having to thumb sum 65% or 70% award value, and payment to be made instantly. So these are good developments which is going to take place from time to time.
So arbitration, at the end of arbitration, it is not over. There is court proceedings and all are there. But because of government's intervention, they have started giving the money, settling the issues at certain percentage of the awarded claim. That is great information.
That is called Vishwas, Vivad Se Vishwas Tak.
Correct.
There's a new government scheme implemented since last 2 years.
Okay, good. You have given loads of information to our audience. It's a very nice session. You have started with what is the definition of contract management, what are the precautions to be taken during execution, and what kind of problems can come, and what are the risks are there, and how arbitration or the claims process to be done, and how arbitration gives the award, and how what is the basis, and we should have strong basis and all the documents required to pursue our claim. And it's not people driven, it's documents driven, or the support documents and proofs driven process. So similarly, you have told the engineers who are freshers, they can pursue this career. This is a good career, you said, but they should have analytical mind, understanding and interpretation of the language or the contractual conditions and specifications. So even people who are experienced also, if they have that kind of a mindset, though they have not worked in contracts management, but still they can migrate to contracts management and go forward. So it's a very nice session. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences to our audience. Lots of unwritten stories about dispute resolution and contract management, which can be learned only through the works of leaders like you, are explained. It's fantastic. So I think our audience would have got enough information and amount of knowledge they have gathered from this talk.
Just thank you very much for a very nice questionnaire you had put up to me. But I think I should have been able to a lot.
No,
It's a
sir, you
vast
have
subject.
given a lot of information.
Much together to explain.
It's very nice of you, and very thankful. We are thankful for your time and also valuable information you shared. Thank you, Vikram sir, once again. I think our audience also would have got a lot of information and knowledge out of this talk. And also, I thank my listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this episode. Stay connected to IndInfra Podcast for more and more such stories from different parts of activities of infra industry. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Viswanadh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.